Welcome back for another one. Ah, this one we talk about the victory for the holistic society view because Trump signed Bitcoin as a reserve currency. This is massive. This is absolutely massive. To eliminate the the printing of the money, that everything will have to be corresponding to the value of Bitcoin, and the value of Bitcoin is always the same as the energy and time that is required to make that Bitcoin. So it will actually work as a modern gold and actually be a Federal Reserve, not this fucking trickery bullshit where they made the Federal Reserve with and all the gold supposed to be backing up the dollar when it was a real green dollar. It was all fucking gone. Where did it go? Nothing is backing up the dollar. And actually, the only thing that is backing up the dollar is programming, the consensus of that attributing value to that piece of paper, or not even a piece of paper, imaginary, nominalization of value, and military. Okay, but that's also being cut down, and seems that Trump does not want to participate in any kind of bullshit wars that is not a good for the, you know, generally not good for. I mean, it might be good for the military-industrial complex, but he's not interested in supporting military-industrial complex. He's interested in supporting the genuine economy of America, you know. And that's just like from a business perspective, that's amazing to make your country backed up by the Bitcoin as a monetary system. You have no idea how big this is. This is massive. This is basically like a renovation of America. The old America still has to die. The debt system still has to die, and everything that's been inflated by that debt system still has to die. So all these wealthy people that is only backed up by the debt, they're all gonna be very poor people, because they always were very poor people. They were just masking with the fact that you can, anyway, don't want to go into that, the whole, debt system. But it's a good news because once everything collapses, that shit economy collapses, there's going to be something to hold on to, and anything that is going to be resting against the Bitcoin during the collapse is going to be saved. Okay? Not to say that Bitcoin is not going to collapse with it, but the Bitcoin will survive, but the dollar won't. They're going to have to replace the dollar with some sort of other currency. As long as the Bitcoin is a reserve, you can have any kind of currency as long as it's tied to that reserve. You see? And that's why Bitcoin may go up and down in value in relationship to a dollar, but that dollar is going to be gone. So the Bitcoin is going to have just a relationship with all the other currencies that are backed by the Bitcoin itself. And then it won't matter what you're going to call it. As long as it's backed by Bitcoin, it's going to be fine. Okay, so that's a great step. But the next step, a big hurdle, is the elimination of software corporate conglomerate if you will. That's going to be a big one. But I think that they're going to, because you see, like, even Twitter would not fall under this type of principle. Twitter would not fall under it, because why? Because Twitter is a corporation. The replacement for the Twitter is something called Mastodon, and that is not a corporation, but acts just like Twitter, and obviously, not just like, I shouldn't say just like, it acts just like as a Twitter should act, and that is Web 3.0. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, like, what this current government is going to do about moving from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. Now that they accepted Bitcoin, the next step is to accept Web 3.0. And that's a massive one, because of all these corporations that are dealing with the software not providing any kind of value, but just selling ads and shit like that, has to go. That's the next step. Web 3.0 zation. You know what I'm saying? But that's a good stuff. Good stuff. Good news. It's a great sign, because we are moving towards this new way. And how it's going to end is that we're going to have a last president, because if America is going to be turned into protectorate, you won't need a president. It's not going to be a government anymore. It's going to be protectorate. And it's going to be possible to do so, because everything is going to be transparent, backed up by Bitcoin, for example, or enforcing the internet protocol, which is Web 3.0, and you can only access something that is non-corporate, for example. And if you're trying to access something that is, I don't know, maybe at first they will do like the option and Web 3.0 and Web 2.0, and make it a choice. If people want to use Web 3.0, they can. If Web 2.0, they also can. But also, it makes no sense to use Web 2.0, because Web 3.0 is going to be better. So there's a lot of cleaning up of America that's happening, and that's awesome. So we're going to see what's going to happen with the move onboarding to Web 3.0. What else we need? Lots of homesteading. That's also supposed to be somehow subsidized and supported. What else? Man, like, if you rid of Federal Reserve and corporate media, and replace it with decentralized currency, which is Bitcoin, and decentralized applications, which are obviously, each one has its own equivalent in the name, then that's huge. Now we're moving away from something that is corruptible, something that is incorruptible. Okay. And there's going to be a huge shift in wealth. Corporate will be stripped of its wealth, because it never actually should have had that type of wealth. Billions of dollars of just running one application, through selling ads or whatever, or getting unfair cut from it, where the all job was done by the software. Anyway, it's just basically unearned money, just because the government allowed for a corporate to own and control information. That just should be banned. That's Web 3.0. It's all about that, banning the corporate involvement in the media. If it's open source, it's open source. It's supposed to be. Just but there's a lot of applications started like open source, then being bought and then made commercialized. And then you say like, why nobody's using the free application? Because they're bombarding and telling you that there's only option it's this one. But of course it's bullshit and it's a lie. But that's what the corporate is supposed to do. This it's the even the word corpo is like it's supposed to take place of a real body, tangible. It cannot be software corporation or information corporation, because it's just like a ego is not real, it's virtual, but because there's pain attached to it, then you make it into real. And so then sometimes like there's no actual tangible damage that's being done to you, but yet you're protecting something that is virtual and just solely not even existent. That's ego. um, so when you allow corporate to run the media, it creates literally a collective ego. But corporate's supposed to focus on the tangible goods, not media. All these applications, and even applications like free market's going to be replaced. We're going to have like Web 3.0 Amazon too. Now, the distribution channels, logistics, and all that, that's very useful, and corporations should totally take charge of that, but not connecting person to person in order for one person wanting to sell something or business wanting to sell something and another person wanting to buy something. That's not supposed to be, because that's is media. That's not um, corporate involvement. Okay, and so therefore, that will strip a lot of power from people who never had deserved that in the first place, and probably is going to be given to people who do deserve it. Justice. This year is about justice, by the way. You can see how all these fucking dark fuckers are being locked up, and they're gonna keep on being locked up, and more of them gonna be locked up, and some war criminals who through the propaganda are fueling wars are also gonna be jailed, because all their propaganda bullshit is going to be put on trial. So like how many million people died because of your bullshit and your lie? They're all gonna be locked up. So justice. Very bad time. This year is a very bad time to be a villain. Like horrific. Oh, all your castle of horseshit is collapsing. Built on lies and deceit. Everyone's bullshit is collapsing this year. Not recommended to pursue the lie and deceit as a way of getting what you want. It is the dumbest thing, actually. Like, what's not dumb is to be naive is not dumb. Basically, no one should ever have a guilt for being naive, because we all start this game naive. Okay, and so that's why there's always going to be the first mistake that we make, um, some event that takes place, like a betrayal, too much trust has been extended or whatever. Like, that's perfectly fine to start off being naive. um but then you learn very quickly, oh shit, that's how it works. Okay, and so you adjust yourself, alchemize all the emotions that were caused because of that event, learn from it, and actually learn on a deep level. And and good things start coming to you, and you now, because now you have boundaries, you learn this way, you grow in wisdom. But what that's not dumb, naive. So never kind of blame yourself for extending your trust where trust not supposed to be extended. That's totally fine. Because why is it? I mean, why is it fine? It's because just the way it works, just the way the game. We come in with these distortions which manifest something, so we can become aware of these distortions. That way, it's a game. Okay, it's the game. It's just like basically clarifying that crystal. That's all. You know, through these experiences. But what is dumb is to uh, instead of playing the game like that, what is dumb is to try to get away, like with your nonsense, with your bullshit. Even, for example, when you are caught, right? I always give people a chance, because when they're caught with their bullshit, with their lie, I always give them a chance. If they double down on their bullshit, then they're out of the game. But if they have capacity to reflect and say, yeah, that was wrong of me, I'm sorry, that's like, I don't know why I did that, whatever, that's fucked up. I don't want to do this. So there's some respect, there's something there that's still alive there. So then you can continue the relationship, because everybody's going to mess up, once. And so everybody deserves at least one chance to let go of that bullshit, genuinely be sorry for it, and let that go. But if they don't accept that, if they want to, they hold on to their egos and say like, no, I don't want it, I like, no, I didn't do that. It I didn't, it's not my fault or whatever. Then okay, off you go into your game of the villain, but you're not part of my circle anymore. So that's the best way to discern, because you can't blame anybody to make one mistake, because we all gonna make at least one mistake in one particular field that we meant to make that mistake. Okay, and so that mistake can be totally forgiven if a person is genuinely apologizing and sorry and doesn't want to do that anymore, right? That's fair enough. But once, right? If it repeats again, that wasn't genuine. They didn't actually let it go. They just wanted, you know, covered it with the deceit. But anyway, I'm just going off topic right now, because the topic right now is Bitcoin as a national Federal Reserve of United States of America. That's awesome news, man. Because when I left US, things are really fucking bad. They were not perhaps that visible, but they were just fucked up. But now things are picking up. Not to say that we're not gonna have the big, collapse and the big crash, but there's going to be softened, especially by the people who are gonna go behind um, these new principles of life. Okay. What else I can say about this? Not really. Not much. Ah, there's going to be a limit. I suppose there's going to be a limit of how far they can go. Uh, and one thing that I was talking about just letting the control go, um, and having a protocol governing the entire country, not a person, because what's governing the entire thing supposed to be unchangeable. The highest structure is supposed to be unchangeable. That's why only the protocol can do that. And then the lowest structures can be governed. The local town can be governed, local village can be governed by a person. That can be, but they're all have to be decentralized and governed by not a person but a protocol, the universal protocol. Because like, if you want to look at like your own brain, there is no governing cell. All the cells function on a decentralized way, and it's just like how the fuck it can be run, because it runs on a specific code that is not an entity, it's a code. But you can call that the code of God, if you will, or code of uh, harmony, whatever. But that code must run the entire country because it's unchangeable. There's no argument about what are the foundational principles are. You can't change the foundational principles, can never be changed because they're fucking universal, and it's just part of it. It will never change. It is not part of time. Those things can never change. So you freeze them in that protocol, and then everything else can be changed. That can be governed. Okay. This is why when people say one world government, when America is going to have that, is going to have no government, and yet everything's going to be run perfectly, and it's going to have like this code that runs everything, just like Bitcoin is decentralization of money, or value, energy. The same way the power can be decentralized as well with another protocol, and eventually the entire world is going to be run on the protocol, not one person or entity that is capable to be corrupted. Like one king is good, and then the next one inherit, and this is a piece of shit. No, that thing not supposed to be. So that's what the whole world is going to be united based on the principles of holistic society, or holistic, uh, governance, and that can never be changed. And then whatever can be changed, sure. Then there's these local governments. You see. Because every cell has a nucleus, right, which governs the cell operations. But the combination of all these cells does not have a nucleus. That's the thing, is that you can't have one cell that runs all of them. That cell's gonna take a piss, and that's why this idea of one world government is stupid. But um, one world protocol, I suppose, it's not stupid. It's not only is it stupid, that's just the only way to have a planet uh, running without kind of wars or conflict. I mean, there is gonna be conflicts, but without wars. The conflicts has to be resolved on like a local level. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and can never be uh, taken by anybody who uses propaganda and egotistical means, and stuff like that. Conflicts are resolved on the smallest level, and then if that level is not resolved, then a little bit higher, and you keep on going. But it never escalates into a war. Of course, I'm talking about a little bit, more ideal into the future, but that's the idea. The idea is not to have like these new presidents. They can clean the place up and install the systems. That's what they can do, and then they have to remove themselves from the power. It's amazing. But the protectorate is something that they can run. They can no longer tell. Um, you can no longer corrupt the code of the country, right? Because that's what was wrong. They corrupted the code of the country. And the code of the country should never be corruptible. Just like the code of man, not supposed to be corruptible, but cheers. So tomorrow, good news. It's gonna take time before this going to kick in and actually make a difference. It might take like 5 years, and again, doesn't excuse the fact that there's trillions and trillions in debt, and that the dollar is a debt system, and that the whole fucking bubble has to collapse. And how that's gonna go, I don't know, but there's gonna be a lot of drama, and it's a lot of changes, and there's the strongest change is still coming. The strongest change in the world is still coming. Change for the better. If you wake the fuck up and see what's happening and actually take, charge of it. If you engage in homesteading, that's excellent idea. Web 3.0, excellent idea. Bitcoin, excellent idea. Permaculture, excellent idea. All of these things. Then you're gonna be totally chilling. It won't touch you. But if your house is a fucking loan, if most of your wealth is backed up by the debt, it's not gonna be fun. Anyway, that's enough for today's message. I'll see you next one, and peace.